Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right. Thank you, Mr. Producer. I am with the one and only Miss Psychic Dottie. Psychic Dottie, how are you today? And happy belated birthday.
It's not belated. Today is actually my
today.
birthday.
I thought you said it was yesterday.
Today is my birthday.
All right.
Nope,
I would sing to you, but I don't want to do that to you.
It wouldn't be the worst thing I've heard, I'm sure.
I can try. I'll no, you don't want to hear that. Psychic Dottie, everybody, is my favorite psychic from down there in West Virginia. She has the website, which is DottieThePsychic.com, and she does she reads them all. She does palms, she does cards, she does crystal. She'll read all of them. She also has a very successful YouTube channel where she does a bunch of videos, and she will do vlogs about the places that she goes, and she does a little bit of everything. So welcome back, Psychic Dottie. Love having you.
Hello. I'm excited to be here. Like, this is this is like the next to last show. So I'm really excited about this one, and it's my birthday. So I decided we were going to do like a thing about reflection. I actually broke out my mirror since we're doing this on Zoom. Like, I've got this cool mirror my dad got me when I was like a kid.
That is pretty cool. What's around it? What's the writing around it?
It's not actually writing. You can't really tell. It's roses and stuff. It's like,
that's neat.
Like that.
That's pretty cool. Your dad got you that?
Yeah, my dad got me that when I was a kid, because it reminded me what the episode was. Because I mean, since this is like next to last one, I've been like listening to our old episodes and just doing like reflections. So that was gonna be like the whole thing was reflection.
Perfect. Psychic Dottie's reflection show. I love it. It's perfect.
Right. So I didn't realize, like, here's the thing, like, because I kind of trip through life just a little bit. Like, I never know what I'm going to run into. I never know what I'm going to be doing until I'm about midway through it.
Okay.
And I was going back and listening, like the first couple of episodes, I was so nervous when I got on. I'm like, that first episode, I'm like, well, we'll just get everything that can go wrong. We'll get it out of the way in the first episode. And after that, it'd be great.
But that last one, I think that last one, the one that we just did, I thought that one was really awesome. I mean, all of them are good, but you've really been hitting your stride in the past few. I mean, really interesting stuff.
Yeah, the dream interpretation.
That was an awesome one.
Yeah, that was a because I did two-parters. I realized, like, we spent 4 weeks on two subjects, like, because it was dream interpretation took 2 weeks, and then the last one was like I don't even know what we called it, but
it was a
like
bunch of different things.
Yeah, it's like all the that was just all the creepy shit. I'm like, well, we need a topic for a subject, and that's kind of what got me in.
It was awesome.
Just the creepy shit.
That's not everyone gets grabbed.
No, not everyone. Thank goodness, though. It's an experience.
I can't imagine. Yeah. I was thinking about that. I got scared.
Right. But that's kind of what I got into. It was to help people who are in situations like that, and even the readings. I've been going back, like, if you go back on my show, on my YouTube channel, you can see where I've done episodes on different kinds of divination. And the reason I got into divination was to help people. So, like, I've been I realized I kind of go back and I'm like, okay, well, what was the point of all this? So what was the greater point to this whole series? Because originally the whole idea was that I was going to try and make money and get famous. Like everybody else, I want to make money and get famous.
I got you. Now, but there are so many, you're so multifaceted. There's so many different things that you do. But is the bulk is the readings, right?
Yeah, the bulk is the readings. Like the readings and the YouTube videos. The YouTube videos are my high art. Like, that's what I put a lot of effort and thought into them. They're very, very self-reflective. Like, I know I've got like 3 or 4 in the pipeline that are just like shadow work and grief and things like that, like heavy subjects. Some of the subjects I cover on my YouTube videos are heavy because they're life.
Yeah.
But like the bulk of where I make my money, where I actually like where the pavement hits the road is the readings, because people call me and get, dream interpretations. They get a lot. I do mostly card readings, do a lot of intuitive readings because people will call me, and before I can flip the first card, I'm like, well, let me tell you what I see.
Are you serious? And you go on. I'm sorry, but I think I know where you're going, and it's crazy to me if this is what I think you're going to say.
Well, that's good. Go ahead and say it because I forgot what I was saying.
Do you think when you pull the first card, there have been times where you know what that is before you even put it down?
I have had that happen. I've also had, because I watch other psychics. Like, it's a field. There are other people out there like me, so we kind of talk and stuff. And I have had other readers, they flipped one card, like, because everybody's got their different kind of readings.
Yeah.
And the quick and easy one is the 3-card read. They'll pull 3 cards and kind of move you along. Like the 3-card read is the quick and dirty kind of read. But I had one who was doing like a 21 card read. They flipped the first card and just proceeded to read me like a cheap novel.
Go on.
It's just sometimes, and I tell you what, the more open the person is who's getting the reading, the more likely that is to happen. The less I have to work around the idea of the skepticism, the less I have to work around the inhibition, the more likely you are to get just like an absolute, like, one of those moments that make you believe. Because, like, and it's funny because it still blows my mind sometimes. I'll go to read somebody and I'm turning cards. I'm like, maybe I'm energetically feeling like drained or whatnot, and I'll go to turn the card and I'll just start like, and it really does feel like it's flowing through me sometimes. Sometimes it's the Sherlock Holmes reading. Sometimes you can just look at somebody and be like, well, no, I know what your problem is. I look at your face. It doesn't take a genius to figure out. And then other times it's just like it starts pouring out. Either way always kind of gets me.
How many cards are there?
Depends on the deck. Like if you get an Oracle deck, there's no telling how many cards are in that deck. There's as many cards in that deck as the person drew it. Poker deck, pretty standard, is
52.
52. Yeah. 52 card pickup.
Yeah.
Played it far too many times.
You probably had an older brother.
Actually, both my siblings are younger, but I used to read cards at a bar, so they get knocked off the table and everything. So that's originally why I made my deck. I drew a deck of 100 cards because I got sick of drunk people pouring beer on my tarot deck. I'm like, it's a nice deck. You get invested in your tarot deck. Some of them are expensive and nice. Like,
Didn't you say you had your first one though?
The first
Didn't
deck
you say you had your first deck?
Yeah. I still have my first deck. I gotta see, this lady gave me a whole bunch of them. Like, I think I told the story like a first or second episode about when I was like 13. This lady just handed me just this whole bunch of decks of cards, and I lost most of them over the years, but I held on to 2, and one of them is a tarot deck that I love, and I can't remember where it is off the top of my head, or I'd grab it right now. And the other one is actually like an astrology deck, and it was totally different. Like it was 3 sets of 12, and it had like the planet, the house, and the zodiac sign, and you'd lay one from each set out, and it would make a sentence.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it is. Like there's as many ways to do divination as there are people doing divination. Like one of my favorites, I've got like a little trinket set. Some people call it a bones.
I was just talking to somebody who does the bone divination. Divination.
Yeah, divination. That's the art form. That's the overall art form of divining. Like the predictions, fortune telling, all that is divination.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like that is the overarching term. So I've got a set for that. I've got actually, if you're really interested in finding out all the kind of divinations I've got a video out. I did a January prediction where I went through and I was looking at all of them. I just decided I had a ADHD moment where I took everything I owned that had to do with divination and set it out. So, actually, I wanted to show you something.
Yeah, yeah. What do you got? And then don't forget your reflections too. We want to talk about that. What do you got there?
Remember we talking about the
Is that a
board?
Ouija board?
It's not a Ouija board. It's a spirit board because Ouija is a copyrighted term.
Oh, okay. All right. Now
I
tell
think
me
it's
about
owned by
this.
Hasbro.
That's pretty neat looking.
But
What is
yeah,
it?
that's the board I was talking about that talked to me the one night. Like
Oh,
literally.
geez. Oh, yeah. And you still have it in that room. That thing would have been 3 houses away from me.
Breaking a board doesn't actually fix the problem. You know what? We'll get back. Let's go ahead and do this on a reflection because this is one of the things. Windows, mirrors, and freaking Ouija boards are actually spirit boards, all kind of fall under the same principle where they will reflect, but they're also windows.
How so?
Okay, so like when you do a mirror magic, the principle is that it's optics. Like it's reflecting the energy. I thought I turned that off. Really? Okay. So the thing about mirror magic, like you can reflect somebody's energy back on them. If somebody's sending you something dirty, you just send it back. It's like a return to sender. Or you can use it on yourself and examine like your inner person, So you use that mirror almost as like because everybody says that you're afraid of the abyss. Everybody's afraid to look into the abyss, but the true horror comes when you realize the abyss is looking back. But at some point you're just like, hey girl, hey.
So that mirror that that's the one that your dad gave you, right? That one. So how do you use that as a window, as you said? I'm curious to know what you meant more about that.
This is one of those videos I've been had like from the inception of the channel. I've wanted to do a whole video on reflection. And I realized part of the reason I haven't is because it is so hard to put into words what I actually know about it. Because what I've learned from staring at my face for way too long. and that is the magic of reflection, is that you pinpoint down what you're looking at. When you're looking at yourself, you're examining yourself. You're reflecting back onto yourself what you're sending out. So you feel the force that you're putting out, which is great if you put out love, but it also sucks if you're, if an asshole, but it's a good way to find out what kind of energy you're putting out there. Like I realized like this whole show to me is a mirror. It's reflecting back at me what I'm putting out into the universe, So you got to should always be brave enough to look yourself in the face. If you can't look in the mirror, there's something really wrong. So that's my soapbox for the day.
No, it's not a soapbox. So what else do you guys use mirror? Because I heard the term mirror magic. What is that?
So mirror magic, a lot of times, that's that whole reflection thing. Like a lot of times mirror magic is used as sort of a defensive magic. Like if you've got somebody who's talking crap about you, if you've got somebody who's sending something dark your way, you can put your name on the back of a mirror and put it face up. Put their name on if you know what their name is. If you don't know what their name is, you don't have to put it on there, but you put a candle on the top of that mirror so that you can send back, and it'll that candle will draw the focus off of you and into the mirror. When it reflects back off of that mirror, it'll go back to the person sending it to you.
So it's almost like it's a defense. If I know somebody is putting me down or talking behind my back or something like that, I make a mirror or I get the mirror and then I put their name.
No, you put your name on the back of the mirror, because the candle and putting your name on it is so that that whatever dirty magic they're sending your way goes at the mirror instead of at you. You're switching the focus of whatever they're sending you. Like you're putting it off onto the candle. And that's part of putting your name on the back of the mirror and putting the candle on the top, is so that magic they're sending your way will go to the mirror rather than coming at you. Once it hits the mirror, it reflects back.
It goes back to whoever,
Right.
whatever
And-
jerk is doing that.
Right. And that's like the biggest thing that people know to do with mirror magic and reflection magic, but there's a whole nother world to it. Like yeah, it really is like a whole other world. Like Alice Through the Looking Glass kind of world. But you know, back in the day, like when somebody died, they died in the house and the funerals were at home, they'd stop the clocks and they would cover all the mirrors.
Do Jewish people still do that?
Yeah. Part of the reason they cover the mirrors is because they're kind of gateways into the next realm. And that's, yeah, you can use them as a form of scrying in and of themselves, like a crystal ball. You can use a mirror the same exact way you would use a crystal ball.
Interesting. Well, Dottie, what about? I'm sure you're going to tell me it's just an old superstition, but I still am so careful around my mirrors not to break them. Am I being silly?
What? I don't know if that's superstition or not, but I'm not brave enough to test it either.
Me neither. That's what I'm saying. I'm always super careful. So okay, all right. So if you think that it's something to it,
I actually do know that the thing is behind these 7 years of bad luck had to do with the fact that mirrors were so damn expensive back in the day because they were made out of silver and glass. And, you know, there's things, high polished silver and glass, which were very hard to come by at the time and still aren't particularly cheap.
yeah.
So it might take you 7 years, even if you're a wealthy family, to replace that mirror. So you got 7 years of going around looking like an idiot.
You got a lot of knowledge that's kind of unique. I wouldn't expect anyone to know something like that. That's a pretty cool thing to know. I'm going to put that one, if you don't mind. I'm stealing that one from you, and that's a dinner table topic. That's something you can use everywhere. So thanks, Psychic Dottie. I'm stealing from you. I am a well of
useless knowledge.
No, it's not useless because it makes a lot of sense, right? I mean,
yeah. That's the legend I heard. I mean, I can't swear to that. I would definitely, if you're gonna repeat that, you may want to actually look it up. But like,
okay,
all right. It makes sense. It makes logical sense. If nothing else, I don't know if it's exactly true, but it definitely makes sense.
So we're doing a Psychic Dottie reflection show. If I could ask you to reflect on any part of any show that comes to mind that maybe you want to tell us more about, or something on your mind, because this is the reflection show. So what's on your mind? What do you want to tell us?
You know, honestly, I think was the second episode that I finally was like, because the first episode we had technical difficulties and the whole time I was so freaking nervous. And I'm like, why was I nervous? It's not like the first time I've gone up and talked in front of people. I did a 5-minute show to get the deal that got me here. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I'm still hoping that the sponsors decide that I'm worth, having back, but I'm not paying anymore.
I hope you come back. I don't know how that works, but
I don't know if it works either. I'm hoping. So I'm just putting that out there in the universe.
So the second show, what happened in the second show?
The second show was like the first one where I managed to get my lines right. Because like we did the whole episode on shtick. Do you remember? It was not the second episode. It might have been the second or third episode. It was the one on shtick. Do you remember us talking about the importance of a good shtick?
Remind me on that one.
It was an episode. The whole reason I did the episode was so I would remember my damn taglines. You know, the hello, my dotling, and the safe travel and much profit to you. And I was going to talk all about how like because I got the safe travel and much profit line actually from my dad. And that's what I had originally decided to talk about. But every time I think I'm going to come on here and talk about something, I end up going in a completely different direction.
So you want to talk about your brand type thing, right? And your taglines and stuff like that. So to remind yourself, you did it on a stick. Okay.
Yeah, I did a whole episode on a stick and then forgot my tagline the very next episode. I don't even... But that's like the story of my life. I am on the fool's journey. I am the kind of fool who would take that journey.
I think I got the fool card one time. So hey,
It's a good club.
Yeah, hey, we're in the same club. I'm a Dotling, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned
Well,
that.
thank you. I certainly hope so. You know, and for the rest of you who want to be Dotlings, you can always check me out on my YouTube channel, Dottie the Psychic.
Okay. All right. So what's going on with now? What is Psychic Dottie got going on? Coming up. I know you just did something. You had something going on that we were about to talk about, but I can't remember. But what do you got coming up here in the future? What are you working on? What's
you know what? It's always hard to tell what I did, but I have got so many irons in the fire, and I took last week to help a friend and have completely lost track of what I'm doing. But I know tonight I'm doing a live stream with Asen. He is actually my social media manager and a fellow psychic. And we just get on there and talk about all sorts of psychic related stuff. I don't even remember what the topic was. I think the topic is like self-care tonight or something like that. So I can't swear what it's going to be about, but he and I are going to get on there and chit chat. It's coffee and tea.
Tell me when and where people can see it.
8 p.m. tonight on my YouTube channel, Dottie the Psychic. On YouTube, Facebook, I've got a Patreon. I got a little bit of everything going.
Is that Eastern time or Central?
Eastern.
8 o'clock Eastern.
8 o'clock Eastern. So if you all want to come up, and we'll be doing readings there. So if you want to come and tell us your name, and if you're going to get a live reading, you got to give us a specific question, because we're kind of doing it. Obviously, we're doing it on the fly, but we do readings, like 3-card draws. Also, I've been working on like outfits and stuff. Like, I'm going to be trying to get my trailer out next month for the channel, because I had one out, but so many things have changed since then. Like, I finally got a rhythm going.
Mm-hmm.
But like every month I put out a video that's either a blog or a psychic shopping video or one of my bigger videos. And then I do 2 live streams, one with a special guest and then one with Asen. And I do a prediction of the month every single month. That's my routine. So I try to have a video out every week at 8 p.m. Thursday.
Okay. What was this month's prediction?
Prosperity. Like, I did the whole thing with the theme of green. Like, here's the thing about predictions. You can always change what the universe has set in front of you. It's not like nothing is set in stone until it is completed, until it is passed. So, like, the whole theme of this month's prediction was, how can we be more prosperous? I dressed up in green. I got all my green out for St. Patrick's Day, partially because, it's going to be spring here in like 7 days, not 7 days, 4 days. I don't know. I goofed with math. I don't know. I don't know exactly, a week or so. Anyway, it's going to be spring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's finally starting to warm up. Things are starting to turn green. And it is sort of the waxing of the sun, the way the moon waxes and wanes.
Mm-hmm.
The sun's takes longer to do that, but this is the time of the year where the sun is waxing. We're starting to get more sun energy, more prosperity. This is the time to plant, to bring things into your life. And that was kind of what my prediction of the month was about. Also, I got a really, really good shot of the smoke. I was trying to read off of this incense, and reading off smoke is always kind of a pain to try and do on camera, because smoke does not show up well on my camera.
Is this something I've never heard of this before? Like, you light an incense and you can read from the smoke that's coming out? I never heard of this.
I've read fortunes off of cigarette smoke so often.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like one of my bar tricks back in the day, like palm readings and reading cigarette smoke. I started doing those because I'd leave my cards at home.
Because your cards fell on the floor. Oh, well, guys, I am with the one and only Miss Psychic Dottie. And Psychic Dottie, always a pleasure to have you on, but it does go quick. We have run out of time, but let me give you the last word on Reflections with Psychic Dottie. And the good news, guys, for you, I'm talking about the listeners, is Psychic Dottie wants to hear from you all next show. She says it's very important, and she appreciates you guys, and she's going to answer your questions. So, Psychic Dottie, let me give you the last word. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. But you got the floor.
All right. So, if any of those witches and bitches out there looking for help with their spiritual activity, contact Dottie the Psychic. That's DOTTIE thepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.
Dottie, you're the best. All right, guys, that's my friend Psychic Dottie, and I'll see you next week. All right, right back, guys.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.